Okay, I have been hiding this one secret weapon that I've been using to help me scale my coaching clients and B2B clients in my agency to 6 figures a month. And if you know anything about the online space, you know that content is an ever growing industry and an ever growing business. And content is exactly what we used, whether it be ads, personal brand, or just posting consistently on LinkedIn for some of our B2B clients. It's one of the tools that we used in order to scale them as quickly as we did. We had one client that went from zero, nothing, no leads, no business, to landing their first 32K deal in the first 30 days just from cold outreach and having the right content. So I'm going to break down exactly how we did that and the secret weapon that we have been using in order to produce high quality converting content for our clients. So take a look at my screen and you can see exactly what it is that we've been using. I'm going to sign in and I'm going to show you the ins and outs of how exactly you can use this powerful tool. Okay, so as you can see, we're now on the inside of Creatr Copilot. Now, I must give a caveat, and that is that we actually built this tool internally with a content agency because they wanted to charge us $3,000 a month to produce content for one person, so 30 short form, 4 long form, and I thought, no way, I'm paying $3,000 every month. So we just built something internally, and we've been using this for our own clients, and then we rolled it out to our clients to use themselves, and now I'm rolling it out to all of you so that you can use it as well. So here's exactly how it works. So let's say you're working with a coach, right? There are a couple of ways that they can drive traffic organically outside of ads, right? So if we're looking at their personal brand, for example, then YouTube and TikTok and Instagram are going to be some of the top ways that you can pull traffic into your funnel. And then once you're in the funnel, you need to have a VSL, and then you need to have emails, and you need to have pre-call assets and all of that stuff before they even get on the call. So here's how we use this tool in order to build all of those things. So the first thing is obviously YouTube Lab. This is a super, super useful tool that we have used in order to build and script high converting YouTube videos for our clients. So here's an example, right? Let's say I work with a trading coach and they're fairly new, let's say they maybe have 10, 15,000 followers, something like that. And we want to use their current audience in order to kind of push them into the funnel, but we also want to attract new audience that are interested. So what we would do is we would take the channel URL of a YouTuber who's big in their space. So I have PB Investing here as an example. He's big in the trading space. He also seems like a very decent guy, so I wouldn't mind using content very similar to his style. So we'd add him here, and then it will pull the top velocity videos. And what that basically tells us is which of his videos gain traction the fastest. Once we know that, that's just like a nice to know. And it also is just kind of a mechanical thing for the software to be able to pull it. The real kind of like juiciness comes from Idea Library. So when we have PB selected here, and you can see it's got a tick and it's highlighted in purple, we go to Idea Library, create ideas from channel. And what this does is it pulls content ideas based on the headlines or the titles of the best converting videos. And then it divides them into top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. If you don't know what that means, go and look it up. But essentially, top of funnel is people that don't know you. Middle of funnel is more value-focused content. And then bottom of funnel is where you push them into your sales process. So, for example, how I achieved X result in Y timeframe doing blah, blah, blah. And this is like classic, like VSL headline, whatever. So this is a classic one. And then it gives you an example, how I wrote a book in 7 days using AI. Then we have, I spent X amount of money in short time frame on unlikely thing. I invested 100,000 at 24 as a new entrepreneur. So you can take these and you can either, obviously we could just take this example, let's say, whatever, and we can turn it into a script. So we can either select it directly from the pattern that we just chose. So let's say we wanted a top of funnel and we wanted to do, here we go. So in this case, we could do something that was like, if we're working with a trader as well, then, and the middle of funnel is how to start as X activity as a beginner in the current year. So we could say how to start, like, let's say making 10K a month from trading as a beginner in 2026. So that would be a good title. We could also do it for another niche. So let's say we could say how to start, for example, creating high converting content, or not even that, how to start high converting content as a trader in 2026, something like that, right? Additional content context is where you put anything that's specific and nuanced to you, the video you want to make. So if you kind of have an idea and you're like, you know what, if I was going to make 10K a month from trading, what I would do is I would learn a strategy, I would learn risk management, I would get my psychology straight by reading X book and watching X video. Then I would sign up to a demo account on Tradeovate, and then I would back test for 20 days, and then I would forward test on the demo account, and then I would buy a prop firm account, then I would pass, and then I would get a payout, and then I would blah, blah, blah. You get it. So you put all of that context in here just for the sake of time. I'm not going to do that. But you press generate outline, and then it will produce for you a script and the specific time frames that that script should go on for. So here we go. 12 to 15-minute video. This is the hook. And obviously you have your like animations and stuff and get your video editor to do. And then here's exactly what the introduction, the first point, the second point. Now you want it to be natural. You want it to seem like it's coming from you as an individual, which is why it's in bullet points. If you want a bit more, then we can do that as well. And then here's all the like the CTA and the thumbnail ideas and all that kind of stuff. So that's how you use the YouTube one. Then you can basically use exactly that same process in the short form. So this is like if you want to build, like a Instagram reel or something, then you can create that in here, and it's going to give you the script, the short list, the captions, all of that kind of stuff. Same for hooks, same for LinkedIn. It's what do you want to talk about, and then any context, what's the type. So for example, if anyone knows anything about me, you know that I was a degree apprentice in finance and I fucking hated it. So I could say, like the dark underside of degree apprenticeships employers don't want you to know about. And then I would add here all of the reasons why I hated being an apprentice, like bad pay, capped progression. Let's say you're an apprentice. Oh, can't spell. You're an apprentice as an excuse for things, blah, blah, blah. And then it would generate 3 posts, and I could either choose from one or I could post them all, whatever. We have this little icon down here. So if you have an idea and you're like, that cannot fall out of my brain, type it in, and then it will come up in the ideas tab. Same with anything else that you produce. You can add to the ideas tab directly from YouTube, from wherever. For example, save. It will be saved to your ideas tab, and then you tick this button once you've posted this content. So you get the idea. Then the only other 2 things you're going to want to look at is plan. So if you're like, you know what, I actually don't have the capacity to think of ideas for the next 30 days, no stress. Either prompt it, so put it in a prompt. So this kind of little demo prompt is what I would type in if I was doing a launch for Creatr Copilot. So I need an aggressive content plan to launch my SaaS product, focus on LinkedIn and Twitter for B2B leads with Instagram and brand awareness. 30-day campaign. Generate, or I can do it manually. I want to build an audience. I'm a trading coach. My demographic is 18 to 30-year-olds who either know how to trade. Let's say I trade futures. Who know how to trade. Let's say I trade NQ, or want to learn. I actually do trade NQ and gold, or want to learn. Okay. Key content themes that you could put in, like risk management, don't hate on me for supply and demand, NQ, economic news, prop firm rankings. Then you could put in a specific goal. So if you wanted to add some followers or whatever, you had a specific goal in mind. It's not going to guarantee you get there, but it's going to understand that that's your goal. And you're going to say, okay, I want a 30-day plan and I want to start it today, Sunday, give myself a day off tomorrow. Then you press next step and it's going to generate a content plan for you. This step is kind of down to you. So it will recommend to you the platforms you post on. I honestly wouldn't even bother with LinkedIn for this one. It's a bit guru vibes, but maybe Twitter would be good. And then you can adjust how many pieces of content it will produce for you. Again, generate content plan at the bottom. And then it will start generating. And then you can see at the bottom, 67 content plans across 4 platforms. It will show you the content that you can see. So, okay, post about risk management. TikTok post about economic news and all that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to see that. And then you can take these headlines and put them into like the specific one. So, okay, if I had to do a YouTube video about risk management, then I could say, okay, I want to do, let's use it as like, it's going to be middle of funnel. So maybe how I'd, manage my risk, how I'd master risk management fast as a beginner trader or something like that. You get the idea. So that's essentially how this works. It breaks down everything for you. It allows you to repurpose that content. So we work with an agency, a sports marketing agency, and they hired a bunch of interns to write articles for them about some of their top athletes. So what they do is they put that content in here and they reproduce it into all this different type of content so that when something hits, they can just like milk it for everything it's worth. Same for inspiration. So if somebody writes an article about one player, they get inspiration on how they can write about another player in the same way. So like 2 quarterbacks, for example, they could do it like this. We're rolling out email next week to have really, really good copy. So you can build an email sequence depending on like your business or whatever. So look out for that. And that's pretty much it. You obviously have growth, so you can connect your Instagram and your YouTube, and then it will monitor that growth over time. If you run an agency like me, then we have an agency plan in here where you can see this entire dashboard for each of your clients. So for example, let's say I had 3 separate clients that I used this for. I would be able to create a specific account with their specific goals to see their specific metrics so that I can produce a report to show them how their content's been doing under my care. And not only does this allow you if you're already doing content for them, but if you're not doing content for them, this will add revenue to your agency, which is the bit I love the most, because you will be able to say, hey, like, I know we're doing your email copy, but we would love to take over your social media. It's going to cost you an extra 2K, but we will produce a report every week showing you how much that content has produced in terms of clicks and views and whatever conversions, and then charge them up on that. And so your ROI by using Creatr Copilot is like 600%, something crazy, depending on what you charge, which is awesome. So that's that. If you're curious to see the ROI, then definitely take a look here or book a demo and I'll show you how the agency models work, and we can chat through it. But yeah, that's essentially how we've managed to increase, well, it's how we've managed to basically organically scale some of our offers to, we have one that's doing over 225 grand a month in the first 60 days because we're pumping out content like this. And another one that went from 0 to 35K, their first deal from cold traffic. It was from email and LinkedIn, and we produced that content from here. So if this sounds like something that you want to do, that you want to click around on, we have a 7-day free trial. I'll put the link in the description so you can check it out. And we would love to hear your feedback. So if you have any, drop it to me on Instagram. I'm super keen to hear feedback on this. And yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.